good couple of stats to get your morning going today. Both of them related to your favorite football team. Both of them on the defensive side of the ball. Both of them related. Both of them mind-blowing. Good morning to you. Good Tuesday morning. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports. This is Daily Shot of Steelers. It comes your way bright and early every weekday. If you're into hockey and or baseball, I also offer daily shots of Penguins and Pirates. The same place that you found this. Ready? Here they come. The Steelers' blitz percentage per drop back in the 2024 season was 25.9%. And that ranked 12th in the NFL. I know, right? Like, you wouldn't have been surprised if I had told you that it was 32nd in the NFL. But I'm looking right at it. Pro Football Reference. The top two teams, by the way, it won't surprise you at all, were the Vikings and the Lions. Okay, and the other one? This is the hurry percentage per drop back. How often was your defense able to get the quarterback to hurry? Now, this doesn't mean hurry out of the blitz necessarily. It just means how often do you get back there and make that guy uncomfortable. The Steelers' percentage on this was 5.8% of the time, 5.8% of dropbacks, which was the fourth worst percentage in the league. I know, right? Like, these are things that your eyes will tell you in a certain way, but you need a little bit of help from the data to make it all make sense. Because it wasn't so much that the Steelers weren't blitzing. It's just A, who was blitzing, and B, how effective, or in this case, ineffective, those blitzes were. But let's start with the where, because I don't know about you, but when I think about the Steelers and the whole Blitzburg thing, in addition to thinking of the great Dick LeBeau, I'm also thinking about the number of different positions from which LeBeau would do this. His blitzes weren't just pin your ears back and go get him, son. It was, I don't even want that quarterback to have a clue as to which one of you is coming and which one isn't. I'm going to bring up a quality and underappreciated name from the past by citing Dejan Townsend. Good one, right? Never really got his due. Well, check this out. Dejan was in the league for 13 years. In a 7-year span, from 2000 to 2006, including, obviously, a Super Bowl championship, he had 15 and a half sacks. He had 5 forced fumbles, 3 fumble recoveries. He also finished his career with 21 interceptions. You see what I mean by underappreciated? But all I want to zero in on are the sacks. This was a cornerback. And this was a corner before there were, established spots for nickels and slots and dimes and stuff. He was just a corner, and he could get back there. And LeBeau loved having that luxury. Nothing stops the Steelers from doing, it doesn't necessarily have to be corner blitzes. Not sure I want to see Joey Porter Jr. doing that. Although it should be known, and he would be all too happy to make it known to you if you asked, that when he has been assigned to spy and go after somebody behind the line of scrimmage, he's actually done it pretty well, better than you might think for someone who came out of Penn State or having a reputation of either not being good at tackling or not wanting to tackle, or who knows. But you can use other guys, and you can use players who are more accustomed to blitzing. Now, I'm going to somehow try to get through this entire segment without revisiting, yet again, my bitterness over letting Landon Roberts walk. Because he was the guy that you had doing that more than anybody else, and even though he wasn't necessarily a go-get-the-quarterback guy, he was a go-get-anybody and everybody in the backfield guy, as it related to the running game. But it's not like nobody's left behind. Patrick Queen is a heck of a football player who's going to be significantly stronger just by simple common sense in year 2 than he was in year 1, where he openly acknowledged that the the green dot, the new defense, and worrying about everybody else had him all messed up at times. This season, he can just play football. Great. I'm just going to have to presume that Cole Holcomb is ready, like really ready. Because if he isn't, then the Roberts thing takes on another level entirely. And then there's Peyton Wilson, who's got this world-class closing speed. So you've got guys right there that you can get involved in this sort of thing. But you also can just get back to having this general claws in the dirt mindset that used to apply, back when those, let's just call them for this episode to have some fun, those Deshae Townsend defenses were coming at you, okay? Deshae's going to love this episode, by the way. Why is it that the Steelers measure or appear to measure, based on their schematics, their pass-fail ratio for getting after the quarterback or making the quarterback uncomfortable almost entirely on the performance, on the output of their edge rushers? Think about it. We do it too. How was the pass rush? Well, plain and simple. You look and see how many sacks or hurries or whatever that TJ Watt had, or Alex Highsmith had, or Nick Herbig had. And then you're done. You're done. You don't even think about the other guys. You don't think, even Cam Hayward will, he'll have his impact. Cam had his 8 this past season, which is just, what a year he had, seriously. But I want to read you all of these sacks. Okay, TJ had his 11.5. Obviously not his most explosive output. I would contribute a lot of that, not all of it. He can be better. But I could attribute a lot of that to the egregious holding. I mean, outright planned, advertised holding that was done. I could attribute some of that to the chips that he faced. But I'll also attribute some of that to the offenses that they were facing in general, knowing, hey, if we want to stop the pass rush, we just need to stop that guy over there and that guy over there, and we're all good. Continuing here, Cam had the 8, Highsmith had 6, Herbig had 5.5, Preston Smith, the number 4 edge rusher, had 2. You can see where the numbers are heading, right? Larry Ogunjobi, who just never really seemed to have that foot heel all the way, had 1.5. Keanu Benton had 1. Dean Lowry, Mon Adams had 1 each off the defensive line. Queen and Roberts had 1 each. And the last guy on this list is the only defensive back. That Beanie Bishop had half a sack. My friends, I have said this in relation to Minkah Fitzpatrick playing 100 yards off the line of scrimmage, and I'm going to say it in relation to this. You can go and get your big boys. You can go and get your Derek Harmon and your Y.A. Black, and you can get all excited about that and say, we're going to get after it. We're going to get back to being this or that. Unless you go after the quarterback with a vengeance, you're just going to be doing more of the same. More of what we've seen of the past 5 years, which is occasionally the defense will flash, but occasionally, especially when they face the better teams, it won't. And I'm sorry, but that is not correlative to the talent at hand. When we come back, J1Q.
This segment of Daily Shot is brought to you by our good friends at Mike's Beer Bar. They're located on Federal Street, directly across from PNC Park. Mike has more than 500 beers on tap, including from more than 50 local breweries. Stop in and say hello. Tell Mike we sent you. Mike's Beer Bar.
Before we get to today's J1Q, you guys are the absolute worst at following any kind of sage, brilliant advice that I offer you, okay? I almost made it through that sentence with a straight face. Because the theme of the show yesterday was to, listen, get excited about Will Howard, but understand the Steelers don't have a plan for him, QB1 or QB2, this coming season. They just don't. I'm not saying that to knock him. I'm not even saying that because I'd necessarily agree with that as a stance. I'd like to see him in camp before I come up with any kind of real position on this. But instead, no, this show had yesterday 25,000 downloads. I don't even know or care why that happened. If that was you just saw the name and it went viral, whatever. But we also had like 1 billion comments, and they were all like, glory, hallelujah. Here comes Will Howard. We love Will Howard. The best of all of those, and this is good stuff too. This comes from Steve, and it's our J1Q. He says, DK, I have a serious question for you. What is actually wrong with Will Howard? Guy threw for 4,000 plus yards, 35 touchdowns, and leading his college team to a national championship. He's 6'4", he's 235, he's athletic, he has all the work ethic, intelligence, and leadership qualities that you could ask for. That kind of description is normally a first-round lock, if not top 5. Why in the world was he available in the 6th round? Now, I'm going to try to answer this, Steve, but I'm going to preface it by saying that I really can't. Because I haven't found this stuff either, and I've looked for it, and I've asked around. And I did because I began leaning toward him about a month and a half ago in the draft, look at more of him than I did of any other college quarterback beforehand, and I kept waiting for the fatal flaw. The closest I could come, and I don't ever pretend to have some football-trained eye or anything of that scope. But I wasn't always crazy about the crispness of the passes. Now, before you come with torches and pitchforks at me, I feel like I could say this about only, roughly 99% of all college quarterbacks. Because it's not until they get to the National Football League that they have to hit NFL windows on routes where they have to be able to thread the needle. It's not something that you do just because the situation is unusually challenging. You have to be able to do it like all the time. Why? Because in college receivers are what's known as college open. When they get open, they get crazy open. They have entire acres to themselves. That is nothing more, in my mind, in watching Howard, a simple matter of gaining that experience. I could also say, and I've shared this with you guys previously, but it's probably worth a repeat in this context. In watching Howard in those 4 playoff games that Ohio State had, when he was at his very best, to his inestimable credit, he was accurate. There also was a conservative approach that the Buckeyes took to their offense. If you watch, for example, the entirety of the first half of the national championship game itself, you'll see Howard completing 14 out of 15 passes, which is awesome no matter where those passes are. But they were all routine, safe, and for the most part, college open passes. Now, he did go on to have some real winners, including a bullet for a touchdown that was over the middle and wasn't his first read. So I'll reiterate again that I'm not knocking him here in any way. I'm just saying that I think that the Steelers would recognize, and I've not heard this from them, so this is just supposition on my part, that he does need time to advance. But listen, man, Steve, I'm with you here, okay? When I was talking about Howard before the draft, when I was talking about quarterbacks that the Steelers could take, I was really, 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 really skeptical about anybody being available of worth at the 21st overall spot. But for 3rd round, I mean, I was all in on Howard. I was saying out loud right here that if he was there, they should take him. Their 3rd round came around. They didn't do it. Their 4th round came around and they didn't do it. Their 5th round came around and they didn't do it. So before you criticize all the other teams, remember that the Steelers also opted to bypass him 4 times, including the 1st round. And of course, the vacated 2nd round. I don't know. I don't have this answer like I told you before I even got started. If anybody does, feel free to share. And don't presume that we'd be thinking that you're some kind of villain and you're trying to pop the Will Howard mystique, but let's at least have something that we can consider, that we can look at. Good stuff, Steve. I appreciate you. I appreciate everybody who listens to Daily Shot of Steelers. We're going to be back with another one of these tomorrow.